What's up, y'all? It's Logan, and I'm here bringing this review to this newest Offset project called Father of Four. Now, if you don't know who Offset is, he's one of the Migos. I'm sure you've heard of the Migos, of course. I'm sure you've heard of Offset, but I gotta go through this anyways. And he is the last of the Migos to try his own at a solo project. Of course, we had Quavo's, which, you know, between you and me was absolute garbage. And then Takeoff took his shot at it, and he put out something that was pretty decent, but overall still kind of disappointing. And now Offset's getting his swing at it, and me personally, I thought he was going to be, like, he was the most well-suited for a solo project, and he definitely was, because he came out here and put out the best one of those three. Granted, none of them are really well-suited for a solo project. They work way better together. See Culture 1 and all of their previous mixtapes and all that. Ignore Culture 2, that's an anomaly. Just forget about it entirely. But regardless, going into this one, I had some decent hopes. I mean, I always have baited expectations whenever we're going into a trap project, especially by artists like this, because I just don't know, like, if they can put it together like that, if they can come up with some content to keep me engaged, especially for an album that's this long. Not that it's terribly long. I think it's around 50 minutes, somewhere around there, under an hour anyways, so it's not terribly long, but for a trap project, it could be long if it doesn't have some good content on there, and if it's only just, you know, straight bangers and all that, and that's all you get, no content or anything like that. But he definitely gives you some content. He comes out swinging in the first track, the title track called Father of Four, where we have a big Rube spoken word intro where he's just talking from the perspective of Offset, and then Offset gets to go and rapping, and he's just talking about his kids, how he feels like he's disappointed them as a father, but he is trying his best to make up for that where he wasn't there for them all the time. And that's just a really good and deep introspective track that I was hoping to hear, and he gave it to us right out the gate. And then on the next track, Offset does his thing again, but the main thing I want to talk about is where J. Cole comes in on a feature, and man, I just gotta say it right now. J. Cole, I hope on your next album you have features, because you are just a completely different animal whenever you are on a track with somebody else. And I'm not saying that to say, like, hey, you do not make good content on your own. This man's gone double platinum with no features. We know all about that. 2014 Forest Hills Drive is probably going to go down as a classic. And I even enjoyed For Your Eyes Only and KOD. Although they are kind of disappointing considering how good J. Cole is. They could have been better, I do believe, but regardless, this is not a J. Cole review. I just want to say, man, he just kills it when he gets on a track with someone else, and he is just continuing a streak of that, so this was a really good song. Now after that, he does follow it up with a few forgettable tracks I'll talk about later on in the end, but the next track that I really enjoyed was North Star featuring CeeLo Green. And this is another one just like the last one with J. Cole, where Offset does his thing, and I'm not going to say that he disappoints in any way. He definitely does exactly what you want him to do. But man, CeeLo Green just killed this one. These two work really well together, and this is a track that I got a feeling is going to be getting a lot of radio play. And, I mean, it's not even for, like, it's not a bad song by any means. It is a great song. I really enjoyed this track. And I suggest y'all check it out if you ain't heard it, and even if you're not going to check out this entire album, check out this track. CeeLo kills it. They both work together, so yeah. After that, another track that's worth mentioning, After Dark. He just talks about police brutality, and it's in a very superficial way, but, I mean, still, it's some good content going on. Yeah, it's something that's talked about a lot, but it's something that is in need of being talked about some, so it's an enjoyable track that does bring some more content into the fold. After that, the song Don't Lose Me. He's just on here talking about something that we all knew was coming, where he wants to make sure that he does not lose Cardi B. He wants to stay with her, and I thought this was a pretty good track. Whether you care about their relationship or not, it is just nice to hear him giving you this content. After that, just a good segue into the next track that I like, Clout featuring Cardi B. And, I mean, you all should know, I'm not a big Cardi B fan, but these two work well together. Of course, you would expect that, being that they are together. But, I mean, Cardi B actually has a good verse on here. Just on this track, they're talking about how people will do anything to get clout. That's actually basically the entire hook. And they just talk about different things, including how people will say things about them to try to get them to break up just to gain clout for themselves. And Cardi actually has a good line on here where she says, "They say my name, Destiny's Child." I just thought that was a good line that alludes to the song Say My Name by Destiny's Child. Classic group, classic song, all that. It's all fun there. After that, one more song that I have to mention, Red Room. It's just where Quavo Offset talks about his upbringing, all the pain he had to go through in life, and not just that, but the pain that people around him had to go through. And it was just a really good and introspective song. And that's just some of the stuff that I really liked hearing on here, because when you go into a trap album, you, like I said earlier, you don't want to just hear the bangers, you want to hear the introspection too. And I mean, with that being said, he definitely also has the bangers on here. He has songs like Lick, Tats on My Face, Made Men, Wild Wild West, which have good beats and production, but they are some of the drawbacks to this album because they're nothing you haven't heard. He's just talking about, you know, how he made it to be famous. He's got money, stuff like that. They've got the, for the most part, same generic beats that you're going to hear anywhere else. Not to knock the producers by any means. They are good beats, but it's nothing you've never heard before. Still good tracks for the most part, although I will say that Gunna feature, I didn't want to hear any more of him after his project this weekend. So also, Quavo has a feature that really just didn't do it for me. I didn't care for it that much. But that's really all I have to say about that. Most of the features altogether are actually pretty subpar outside of J. Cole, Cardi, and CeeLo. They do their thing. And then, of course, you have a song, let's see, Legacy, featuring 21 Savage and Travis Scott. It was a good track, although not as good as I would hope from these three coming together on a track, and how they've all, like Travis, he's been on fire. He's one of the best trap artists out. 21 Savage just recently came out with the I Am Is Greater Than I Was, which is a really good project that I actually really enjoyed. And then, of course, Offset. These three together, I would hope they could come up with something better. But yeah, I mean, it was still a good track. And 21 actually has one line that I loved on this track as well. One of the best lines on the project, I thought, where he says, "Why you in the car if you ain't gonna shoot you another witness?" I just thought that was a good line. I found it funny and just enjoyable there. But overall, that track was kind of disappointing considering the talent that was on it. The three of them did not bring their best altogether. So with that being said, overall, I mean, the choruses on here are pretty generic for the most part. Some of them are good, some of them stick out, but overall they get pretty generic, nothing too surprising. Offset does a lot of them by himself, and so, I mean, if you've heard a Migos album, you know what to expect from that. You do have your generic bangers that you hear, but, I mean, you expect to hear that, and that's not something that I want to say is a takeaway from this, but he does come with the content. He brings some good stuff. Overall, I really enjoyed this project. I'm not going to say it's going to be one of the best projects of the year, but it was a really enjoyable project, and I probably will be coming back to quite a few tracks from here. And I highly recommend y'all check it out, especially if you are a Migos or Offset fan. If you like trap music and you want a little bit extra to go along with that. It does get a little long here and there. He could have cut off some tracks. Actually, if the main tracks that I highlighted, if that's all he had, and then maybe one or two of the bangers, this would have been a much better project, just because it would have been a little bit more focused and wouldn't have had quite as much filler. That is one thing that detracts from this. But again, that's one thing that you kind of expect going into albums like this, so try not to let it draw back too much. But yeah, overall, I have to go with a 6.5 on here. I would go with the 7 if he had trimmed it up just a little bit. But, I mean, overall, very enjoyable project. Came out about exactly as I expected, and I am happy to say that. I'm not saying that in a bad way by any means. And definitely the best project out of the three I've reviewed so far. Way better than Lil Pump and Gunna's albums. By far, no questions about that at all. I recommend you check this one out if you like Offset, if you like trap music, if you like Migos, all those things. So yeah, that's my review for Offset's Father of Four. If you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, hit comment section, just let me know what you thought, or if there's anything you would like for me to review. I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to share the video, subscribe, all those great things. Hit the bell so you can get notifications for my next video, and I will hit y'all up next time.